All right, Divine Rising, everybody. Divine Rising. Let me start this right here. All right, it's going. Right, Divine Rising, everybody. I didn't know that was up loud. But anyway, Divine Rising. Um, I'm gonna get started here in just a minute. I was trying to do some little techie stuff before I got started, but let me pull this up over here. So maybe I can. Hmm, let's see. Yeah, there it is. Let's delete that out and let's share. Where's my share? Share to the stories. We open this up. Okay, no, I don't have to be. We're just gonna share it. All right. All right, everybody. How is everybody's morning going? I know it is Saturday morning, and most people probably are not on here right now. Or may not even be up, not on here, but not up right now. But that is okay because you can catch this on the replay. Um, and as the description is says, or the title of this live is "Why Forced Movement Never Feels Sustainable." I am Shakitha with Quiet Queens Academy and No Secrets. She giving me No Secrets and the LA Health Coach. And we're going to be talking about a calm conversation. We're going to have a calm conversation about who are, like, not who, a calm conversation for women who are tired of feeling like they constantly have to force momentum online. This morning, we're talking about pressure, emotional exhaustion, aligned movement, and why sustainable growth usually feels different than performance. So we're going to get into that, but just kind of like a recap of what we talked about already, which I would like to say the stage movement. So we talked about recognition, clarity, environment, self-trust, emotional regulation, and so now we're getting into intentional movement. Intentional movement, and pretty much understanding why aligned movement feels calmer than forced movement. It's a little bit two different pathways there. All right, so let's get into it. We got all of the things out of the way, but like saying sometimes I've been noticed some things that I have been noticing lately, is how many women are trying to force movement online instead of building from clarity. They're forcing content, conversations, consistency, and visibility. And after a while, everything starts to feel emotionally heavy because forced movement and aligned movement do not feel the same mentally. And just a little talk about this video here. They're actually got some things in the workings because I did send them a message about this. It's kind of annoying. Every platform kind of got it right, but this one right here ain't quite got it. Um, because I keep disappearing. Let me see. Let me bring that down some. Maybe that'll help. Maybe that will help me. Okay, and that is fine over here. But anyway, so let's get into these points. If you are tuning in with me, let me know where you're tuning in from, whether it be now or on the replay. Appreciate it. And if you have anything you like to add based on your perspective, drop it in the comments. All right, drop it in the comments. All right, so first thing we're going to talk about pressure creates artificial movement. Pressure creates artificial movement. And I think a lot of online environments normalize pressure, such as, pressure, normalize pressure so much that people start confusing pressure with progress. But movement creates from emotional pressure, usually because difficult, usually becomes difficult to sustain long term, because eventually people get tired. People get tired, not because they're incapable, but because forcing yourself constantly becomes exhausting mentally. I mean, and so when you're forcing yourself to do something that you really don't want to do, and you do it anyway, it becomes exhausting. I mean, I have talked to some people that's really exhausted with being online, exhausted with posting, exhausted, from, people saying, you're not doing enough, you're not talking to enough people, you're not, and the thing is, and as we know, in business, you got to talk to people, but there's a way you can communicate without being forceful, exhausted with the whole bit of doing it. Um, and you can post, "Hey, Christine, thanks for tuning in." But you can do this, without forcing yourself. And we're gonna get into that, and we're gonna talk about, align movement feels different. That's gonna be the next thing. So align movement usually feels calmer, clearer, and less emotionally chaotic. Um, because when someone actually understands what matters, what creates movement, and what can realistically be repeated, they stop trying to carry everything at once. They stop trying to carry everything at once. And that changes the entire experience of building. And yes, these laws are created around women in building. Um, so I don't know about you, but what experiences are you having with building? I mean, how do you feel when you're building, especially if you're building a team and you have, let's say your uplines or your sidelines, or just leaders in general saying, okay, you got to do it this way, you got to do this, you got to do more of this. You know, what do you think? Let me know in the comments your perspective on align movements feels different in this particular point. And you don't have to answer right now, but you can come back later if you got to think about it. So let's get into the next thing. Introvert women feels this deeply. I'm not sure if my introverts are out there, but if you are watching this, introverts really feel this deeply because quieter women usually need understanding, emotional safety, structure, and clarity before movement feels natural. But louder online environments often reward urgency, overexposure, constant output, emotional intensity, and that disconnect creates pressure internally. So, yeah, we're tapping into the internal, the nervous system. If you're introvert, we want to keep our nervous system regulated, right? We want to keep a regulated nervous system, and be in a calm space, to be able, and you can do this simply by, being calm. Because once you get clear on understanding emotional safety, structure, and clarity, your movement is definitely going to feel natural, right? Okay, so why Quiet Queens Academy exists? And this is I'm about to wrap this up. Why Quiet Queens Academy exists? And honestly, one of the reasons I created Quiet Queens Academy because I wanted women to realize that you don't have to emotionally drain yourself to build something meaningful online. I mean, you can move intentionally, calmly, clearly, and still build powerful long term, right? And so inside of Quiet Queens Academy, I've been organizing free trainings around the exact areas I keep seeing women and just in people in individuals in general who are, and I don't like this word, with struggling with it mentally while building. So things like you'll see in there is like stop chasing, the posture shift, calm conversations that convert, the business model explained because once women understand the structure behind movement, they stop forcing momentum and start building with intention. So if you want to get access to that, I pinned it in the comments. Um, It's quietqueensacademy.com/community, and just tap in and join the community. There's nothing forced there, nothing, no pressure or anything like that. But just come and be a part of the community and check out those trainings. Stop chasing, calm conversations, and the business model explained. So I just want to just share a little bit share a little bit about this morning, um, because real momentum usually feels very different than emotional pressure, and I think more women are starting to realize consistency becomes easier when movement finally aligns with clarity. So I appreciate you all and everyone for listening in this morning to Quiet Queens Live. I am Shakitha. You all have a divine day. And let me stop this here. Excuse me. I don't know. I was supposed to stop my recording first. I mean, stop the streaming first. But anyway, y'all have a divine day. And thanks for stopping by.